Hey guys, it's LivSims back with another Sims 4 speed build video. Today I'm using the Nifty Knitting Stuff Pack to create a crafter's apartment in San Myshuno. So this apartment I believe is in the fashion district. It's the little bit shorter apartments, a little bit cheaper, which was kind of intentional. I didn't want this to be a really expensive apartment, which is kind of why I kept the wall colors the same as what came with this, except for the exposed brick that you can see on that front wall. I really love the way that exposed brick looks in an apartment. It really reminds me of the TV show Friends, and it was kind of inspired by the Friends apartment when I was thinking about doing this build. And then I used some of the same floor tiles that you can see in the hallway of this apartment as well, because I figured most apartment buildings would probably keep a very small number of different floor tiles and different flooring in one building. So I tried to sort of match that to the hallway. And then I kept the kitchen pretty simple, pretty standard. I wanted it to look a little outdated intentionally, just because I felt like this is a little bit of a cheaper apartment to live in San Myshuno. And these cabinets definitely look a little bit outdated. That darker wood certainly is not as modern as what I would like my kitchen to look like, but I thought it really suited the way that this build was meant to look like. I'm just adding a little bit of clutter around as well. I tried to keep the kitchen a little bit more clear of a bunch of stuff all over the counter, just so it's a fully functional, usable counter. So if any of you guys want to download it, there's lots of counter space for your Sims to cook or prepare baking or whatever it is that they're doing. I was so excited to get this Nifty Knitting Stuff Pack because it was a community voted stuff pack. I was so happy to see that a lot of the stuff that I voted in made it into the pack. There's a lot of that mid-century style furniture, which I really, really love. I think it really goes well with a lot of the stuff that they've been giving us lately with the Eco Lifestyle Pack and the Tiny Living Pack. I think that all of those items kind of blend well together. And what I found is that there seem to be matching the color swatches to each other a little bit nicer. So a lot of those wood tones are matching quite nicely, which is really exciting for anybody who knows this game, knows what a pain it is to try to match a black couch to a black chair that's not from the same pack. It's always slightly off, and personally that drives me absolutely crazy. Anyways, I am just getting into the living room. I really love the darker swatches of this couch. I love the texture of this couch, and I love the throw pillows that they put on it as well. I think it's such a nice addition. It's nice to have something that is so, in my opinion, well done in the game, because I know that there are some texture issues with some of the other couches. And then as you can see in the tables that I put, they're not even from the same pack, and the woods match, which again, anybody who plays knows what a big deal it is to have your woods match. So the chair legs actually match really well, and then the table that the TV is on is from, I think, Jungle Adventure, and then the side table is from Seasons, and then I end up putting some of the round tables from Tiny Living in the center as coffee tables because they're a little bit smaller. I found that in that space, the coffee tables that we have that are full size were just way too big and taking up too much room. So we went with those smaller ones, and then it worked out well because the blue kind of matches the couch as well. So I think it fit really nicely there. I haven't really used the Nifty Knitting gameplay too much just yet. I definitely want to use it for my Super Sim challenge. I talked about it a little bit in my 100 Baby Challenge video. I did start a Super Sim challenge, which I got the idea from James Turner. I know he's been working on one as well. And basically I took the granddaughter of my last matriarch from 100 Baby Challenge, and she is the Super Sim because I like that kind of family lineage. But anyways, what I was kind of disappointed about was they added Nifty Knitting and they gave the ability for kids to have the knitting skill. But just before the Nifty Knitting pack came out, I had aged up my child sim into a teen, because the way that I've been playing Super Sim is I had her max out all of the toddler skills, all of the child skills, and all of the child aspirations. So once you've maxed out, for example, the creative aspiration up to like you do all of the tasks that, you know, they want you to do, they'll give you extra skills and then you get a reward trait as well. So the extra skills that you can gain are singing, violin, piano. There's a couple more. I can't remember what they are. So anyways, I had maxed out all of those, like mental, social, and motor, and everything that came with it once you've maxed out that aspiration. And then I aged up into a teen, and then Nifty Knitting came out, and you can have a knitting skill as a kid. So I was a little bit like, oh, if I had just waited just a few more days, but that's fine. She's just going to have to get it as a teen. Not a big deal. I am currently playing with them in the Strangerville world. So I've been working through the Strangerville mystery because I want to do a couple of those aspirations while she's still a teen and sort of get a move on with it. I actually really am enjoying the Strangerville pack. So maybe she'll have to get a rocking chair and start knitting while she's doing the mystery at the same time. Anyways, so over here, I just getting into, I finished up the kitchen and I'm getting into this little area with the hutch, and I end up putting a little bit of a bar area there. I think I said this before, but in my mind, the sim who lives here is pretty young, maybe just got out of university and starting out as an artist or a crafter in the city. And so I wanted to have a few things that represented that kind of an age range. I know a lot of people are doing grandparents' houses with the Nifty Knitting Pack, which is 100% what I'll be doing in my next build. I'm going to be doing a grandparents' cottage with those rocking chairs, but I thought it would be really cool to use the idea of having a sim who maybe just finished university and decided to move to the city, started selling some of their craftables on Plopsy, and you know, things like having that bar right there on display. I ended up using a bunch of items from the debug menu. So I've got the wine glasses and those individual bottles there. That to me feels very much like someone who just became a young adult. Having that on display, certainly after seeing many college apartments when I was in university, I can definitely say that there were a lot of alcohol bottles and wine glasses all over the apartment. So I just spent a bit of time making sure that that looked really like a cute area. And I definitely spent quite a bit of time just setting this up, making sure that all of the glasses were not floating, because that proved to be a little bit more of a difficult task. I don't really spend a lot of time building in Sandwich Uno. When I first got the pack, I definitely was building quite a few apartments. Long story short, when I re-downloaded my game maybe a little bit over a year ago, I didn't have all the packs. I only had maybe 4 or 5 because I hadn't played in such a long time. So I slowly started getting the bundles just to collect some of the expansion packs. And Sandwich Uno or City Living is one of the first ones that I got because I didn't have any of the city packs when I was playing Sims 2 and Sims 3. So I was super excited to be in this world. But when I first re-downloaded, I didn't know any of the build cheats. So I wasn't using move objects or anything like that. I didn't know how to size things up and or move them up and down. I had no idea what I was doing. So even just something as simple as holding down the Alt key to ignore those grid lines, absolutely no idea. So I would actually love to see the apartments that I had originally built without knowing any of that and seeing what I would do differently now that I know a lot more about building and I've gotten a little bit better at it for sure. I was actually recently just watching a tutorial by Marmalade Sims, and they were showing their audience how to use some of the base game or pack items to almost customize a kitchen or kitchen island. They used a lot of shelves and a lot of those marble decorative tables and kind of put them all together in different ways and made some really, really cool decorative walls and for like where your bed would go or a little fireplace TV area. I don't know, it was really, really cool. I would totally recommend going to check that out if you're feeling a little stumped creatively, because some of that stuff I am definitely going to go check out. I will make sure to link the video down below so you guys can check it out if you want to. Anyways, just getting into this little back corner here, I decided this is where I would put her little craft area that the sim would go in and make all of her items or his items for Plopsy. This I thought was a kind of the perfect area. And then, I mean, if you were to rent this apartment, it could have just been more of an office nook, but it fit all of the little pieces really well. I think it's so cool that they gave us those two desks and they snap together. So if you have them facing back to back, they'll snap together and you can move the whole desk around, or you can have them in two pieces. I wish that we had more items like that. I think it would have been a really cool addition for sure, but I ended up using them separately and then just adding a few little clutter items from the pack as well. And then I did grab a lot of stuff from the debug item list. I know if you look at Nifty Knitting and what it comes with, if you were to go on Origin and check out all the things you get, it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff, but if you get into the debug, it's just because a lot of the stuff needs to be crafted. So if you access the debug menu, there's so many items, like the hanging plants. I'm obsessed with them. I'm sure you guys can see that I've put them all over this apartment. I think it's such a cute addition. I don't know why we didn't have those sooner. I hope that we continue to get them in some of the future packs. I know that there was the game pack was accidentally released, the icon for that, and there's a lot of speculation of it being a space pack, which is very interesting. I think that would be pretty cool. I am really hoping for a farm pack, but anything that they put out that adds to gameplay, I think would be really, really cool, and I'd be super excited to play with anyway. So hopefully that comes out soon. I know one of the sim gurus has been putting out little Easter eggs on Twitter for us to sort of figure out what it could be. He put the, I think it was the pig that came with Dine Out, and just put the eyeballs, and that sort of sparked something. So I guess we'll see what's coming out soon. Anyways, I was just adding a couple more things. I wish we had a couple more hooks with clothes on it that weren't wardrobe clothes, but I ended up using those little wall decorations from base game and just adding a backpack and the robe there to make it look like they were hanging on little hooks. I did do something a little bit different with the bedroom. I decided to make my own custom bed frame using some wall dividers and some curtains. So I'm just getting into that right now. I started off with really dark colors, and then I ended up lightening it up because it was, first of all, not matching the color of the walls, and I really didn't want to change the color of the walls just because I have a lot of friends who live in apartments and most of the walls are the same color. It doesn't really change. So I wanted to keep true to that and make it look like a true rented apartment. So I decided to lighten up the color of the bed linens and the curtains, and then as well as the wall dividers as well, just so it matched a little bit better, and it kept it a little bit lighter instead of so dark, especially because the curtains added a little bit of shadow. And I started putting that hedge there because I thought it would look cool, but then it would be completely unrealistic to have a giant hedge at the foot of your bed. So I ended up putting that table there from Spa Day with the hole in it. I really love those tables. I use them a lot, especially if you size them down and then put a sized up shelf on top. It kind of makes it look like a custom sort of unit that you could put underneath a TV. And then I sometimes size down some of the hedges and kind of put them in there. And I think it looks really cool. And I'm sure, as you guys can see, I used the rug that came with Nifty Knitting like at least twice in this build. I think they look so good, and I also really love the colors that they come in. They're kind of plain. I like the texture on them, which I know we don't have. I know there aren't a lot of rugs with good texture in the game. I really like using the ones from Laundry Day Stuff as well. And speaking of laundry, I actually even got a bit of a laundry room attached to the bedroom in here as well, which is kind of odd, I know, but I didn't have any exterior to play with or any landscaping to do, and I really wanted to add another element of gameplay in this build, because normally I would put like a pool or something outside that they could use or interact with, but since that wasn't an option with this apartment, I decided to add a little laundry off the bedroom. And I think the thing with older apartments, I guess in real life, is some of the layouts really don't make any sense and things are in really weird places. So I thought it would be kind of ironic to have this laundry room off of the bedroom, which doesn't totally make sense, but it's kind of true to what an older apartment might be. It's just kind of using the space. And I know that getting an apartment with laundry included in it is almost unheard of. I know that, like, a lot of friends of mine who live in Toronto, for example, they don't always have laundry directly in their apartment. So when you can get laundry, it's definitely a steal. So this is going to be a little laundry. I actually made it a little bit bigger than I expected when I did the layout initially. So instead of stacking, putting them side by side, I stacked them to have a little bit of counter space. But I did make sure to clutter up the counter space with a bunch of stuff because I know that in game, sometimes your Sims will be cooking something in the kitchen and for whatever reason, walk all the way over here to this counter to finish up. So to avoid that, I just added a bunch of clutter from Laundry Day stuff and from base game. I didn't even realize that the base game was the pack that came with that laundry basket. I thought it came with Laundry Day stuff for sure, but it's definitely an added little clutter item for the theme of this room. And then I kept the bathroom pretty simple, which we're going to get into pretty soon. I didn't want to put anything too fancy in there because, again, I think that in this apartment it would be a pretty standard bathroom with not a whole lot of stuff in it, nothing really too updated. And I matched the cabinets that are in the laundry room in with the bathroom. I was originally going to take the cabinets from the kitchen, but they just looked too kitchen-y or something. So I ended up going with these ones from, I think it's the Parenthood pack. And then I just added a few clutter items on that counter, again, to just avoid that cooking issue that happens all the time. And then I added a few things on the wall, nothing too much. And I'm just switching out all the lights in the house or in the apartment for these round lights that I feel like everybody has in there, well, at least here in Canada. I feel like those lights are sort of standard in any new house that you get. So I thought I'd put those around just to make it look a little more, I guess, rented instead of keeping the pot lights, even though I absolutely love that we have the small pot lights now that are already sized down, even though now I take those sized down pot lights and size them down even more. Anyways, I think we're just about to get into screenshots. I think I'm going to put a few plants around, but that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I try to put new videos out every Monday, so make sure you subscribe to my channel and I will see you guys next week.